Stats don't lie.
Do, 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 do. Woo!
Stats don't lie.
Don't lie.
Okay, welcome to another edition of Stats Don't Lie. Woohoo! Hey, I'm your host, Tomas, and I'm here with everyone's favorite BAFL coach, Rob Chamberlain. Chob, how are you, man?
Hey, Coach. Great to see you tonight.
It's always good to see you, as you know. How do you like that entry?
It gets better every week, T.
It does get better every week, and boy, do we have a lot to cover.
I mean, to me, as an objective observer, it feels like the show gets better every week. We have some features tonight that are going to be very exciting for our listeners and for all our fans. So let's get into it, man.
Get into it. Okay, let's start with last week's Week 10 results. The Hoppers beat the Crime 48-29. The Virgins in a low-scoring game beat the Schaefermen 20-14. We had the Stud Muffins win again, 9-1 now, 45-37. I mean, poor Fog could have beat the Crime, could have beat the Virgins, could have beat the Schaefermen. They could have beat a lot of teams. Then we got the Gilas. The Gilas.
Oh,
the Gilas?
Gilas.
Oh, sorry. The Gilas won 55-37, beat everybody in the league. We had the Stars beat the Sharks 20-15. We had the Ballbusters squeaking out a victory over the Analyzers. Let's see how we did in our pick'ems.
Ballbusters on a tear. Holy moly.
Let's see, last week and this week, you chose, there's your choices, mine. In the game number one, I took the Hoppers, you took the Crime. I got a point.
Why did I take the Crime? Why?
Why did you take the Crime? And then we both took the Schaefermen. Okay, then you took the Stud Muffins. I took the Fog. You got a point there. You took the Gilas, and I took the
Gilas.
And I took the Tikis. You got a point there. We both took the Sharks. Got a point there. And then what happened? We both chose the Analyzers.
You can't pick against the Ballbusters, I guess.
Yeah.
That's my learning. And yeah, that little bit of a glimpse into this week's pick by me. It's got to be the Busters.
Yep, I think you're right. Let's look at how we're doing. So for the week, you were 3-3. For the week, I was 2-4. And for the season, you're gapping me, man. You're 14-10, and I'm 12-12.
Well, I'd like to think it's because I know more about football.
I would think so. All right. Hold on a second, Chobbers. No, there's always glitches. We've got some breaking news. So,
oh my goodness.
You know that Toby's out in the field now. He is our beat reporter, and Toby's out there day and night, always looking out for our Stats Don't Lie. And let's see what we got. Toby, are you out there? Oh, shit. Toby, are you out there?
Wait, is this live?
Hey, Tomas, I've just been talking to the neighborhood UPS driver. They're concerned about the volume of SDL merchandise with COVID and everything. We really need to make sure that our customers are getting their orders in soon to avoid all the holiday rush and things like that. But that's the latest here from UPS. You heard it here first. Thanks.
Wow. Thanks, Toby. Wow.
Thanks, Toby. Wow.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Hey, I got to say, I don't know about what's up with that neighborhood, dude. That looked like a pretty fat pad back in the background. I don't know if that's Toby's place or maybe he's got the smaller house on the block and that was one of his rich neighbors, but wow.
I know, pretty impressive. Toby's doing pretty well.
Really impressive.
All right, let's get into standings. Hey, these are the standings for the week. As you can see, the Rock Creek Spectrum Analyzers are still leading the Cardwell Gardner division. Silverdale is running away with the It Is What It Is division at 9-1. Santa Cruz at 7-3. So what really jumps out to me.
We gotta mention Cardwell Gardner division, definitely top division in the BFL. Stats don't lie. Look at that. Look at the parity.
Seriously, I mean we're all there.
Even the worst team, which would be Phil, is still pretty good.
I can't believe he's lost 7 games. But looking at this, the big thing that really does jump out to me is that the Ballbusters have won 4 games in a row. I mean, they're on the longest
Wow.
streak in the BAFL. What do you see? What do you see?
Impressive. Well, I got to go back up to Carwell Gardner and just say every team now, thanks to the Gila's 55-point outburst last week, every team has at least a half a week high score, tied for the high score for the week. So you don't see that in
No.
many divisions. Like, look at it is what it is. 1. I mean,
1. Nobody scores.
never.
Nobody scores.
No, it's more of a defensive. It's like is what it is like the NFC East to the BFL, it looks like. Although Toby's legit, let's be honest.
Yeah, he's the high scorer, but that's wait a second. No, actually, he's 6 back of who? The Great Whites. The Great Whites are still the highest scoring team in the league, right? Yep. All right, brother. Who's in the waiting room?
The green room.
Oh shit! No power rankings. Let's go through power rankings really quickly here.
Oh,
So the power rankings are out. Silverdale Stud Muffins vaulted from number 2 to number 1. Your Gila Monsters there.
Gila Monsters.
Gila Monsters went from number 4 to number 2. Good job. Congratulations. Dropping dramatically are the Great Whites, who were number 1 last week, but they dropped down to number 5. Ty Moulter took the loss despite setting a perfect lineup this week. Also falling, once again, everyone's coach to make fun
Everyone's whipping boy. Wow.
of. Schaefer Minko from number 7. He does bring humor to the BAFL right now. I enjoy.
Listen, he doesn't want to be the butt of all these jokes, so stop it, T.
Yep. Hey, Marco's calling in right now. I'm gonna have to let him go here. Anyhow, the other thing I'm gonna point out too is these ball busters have moved up a total of 8 slots over the past 5 weeks. I'm impressed. I am impressed. How about you?
Well, I got to tell you, look at Canoga Park. They jump up 4 spots based primarily on strength of schedule. They beat the Crime. And I can't help but notice, T, I don't know how you do it. You lose a game, yet you still go up a spot in the power rankings. I mean, I'd love to know your secret there, but that's fantastic.
Sequential, systematic, and by design.
Yep.
Stats don't lie. Stats don't lie.
Good
So
on
let's
you.
move on. Okay, hey, who's in the green room?
I got him right here.
Where is he?
I'm gonna let him in.
All right, let's bring that boy in. Is he there?
We got Schmitty.
We got Schmitty.
Hi,
Schmitty's in
Coach.
the house. Schmitty, the Rock Creek Spectrum Analyzer coach, first place in the Cardwell Gardner division. He's a 4-time BAFL champion. He's got the number 1 scoring running back and kicker in the league. He paid only $1 for Justin Herbert, who is the number 6 QB. And boy, is this guy delicious. Schmitty.
Yes.
Greetings and salutations.
How are you, Coach? Good to see you.
You too, gentlemen. How are you? That green room spread you got is quite a treat.
You like
I
that?
am
didn't you?
glad that that the veggie tray, it did look like it was a day till the expiration date. So I'm glad you were able to put that out for me. It was
Hey,
quite.
only the best, Schmitty. For our guests, we spare no expenses. You saw back there.
I felt it.
Little
Yeah.
Schaefer light, little veggie tray.
You might want to look at that outlet on the wall, though. There's a couple wires hanging out of it. That could be a problem. But
Oh,
other than that, it's a good green room.
Schmitty, I notice your hands are covered.
Well, Tomas, I do like to take the old gal out for a little. I looked at it, Tomas, when I got the trophy back this year, deservedly so, and it looked like it had some neglect from the past 2 years. I couldn't tell whether it was a garage thing or whether it partially held up a table or something, but it looked like it had taken a beating for the last couple years. So it's got a nice sweet place over my fireplace, and you just got to be a little careful with the heat.
You've got the up gloves on.
I love that the trophy is being treated with the respect that it deserves, Schmitty. And, hats off to you for being the people's champion.
you know how much I treasure being a BFL champion, and the fact that I was the one that found this little gem on the internet as a trophy that we could all be proud to hold. It's got a good home here, no question about it. It could be here for years, I mean, that's the way I see it.
I'm a little jealous. Hold on, Chopper. I'm just a little jealous. Look at the head of hair he's got there.
I know, right?
Look at that.
He's
It's beautiful.
There's been
I would say right now, on this podcast, he's the MVP with regards to hair. Certainly,
there have been a few coaches in our group that have been very admirable about my hair.
Yeah. Well,
Talking
present company included, I would say.
Yeah.
Well,
So Schmitty,
yes.
I put this background up really as a tribute to you. And I'm just wondering, I don't know if you're really in the right frame of mind, but I have got a couple calls from you historically. And I've got a recording of it, I believe still, but the Go-Go Godzilla.
Oh no.
Yes.
There goes Tokyo. Go Godzilla. Ooh.
Thank you.
Oh no. They say he's got to go. Go Godzilla. Ooh. It is really I didn't know Blue Oyster Cult would come into play, so much in our future, but they certainly have nailed the Gila theme song.
Well, thank you for that. And I know we have a big game coming up this week. I know we're going to be talking about it quite a lot on this podcast, but
good. Yes.
Always great to hear you and your tribute to the Gila Monsters. So thank you for that.
They've been exceptional in providing the best cheerleaders for years. Yes, Gila girls. I always appreciate when you do your scouting during the draft weekend in and around the Grand Sierra pool. It's always entertaining, So it turns out some talent once in a while.
Look, as a student of the game, Schmitty, as much as anybody, we have the highest percentage of our salary cap that goes to our cheerleaders.
It shows. I mean, it shows. And whether they choose D, double D, whatever they choose, they're spending their money wisely, Job. No doubt about it.
Thank you. That's high praise coming from you, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're running out of time. We're running out of time, gentlemen. Let's move forward.
All right, T, go ahead. Why don't you ask a question if you're so worried about it?
We're down to our last question, and I like the way you.
No, we're not.
Well, we are. Well, Schmitty, what is your methodology on how you're going to do a repeat this year? What are your plans? I know that Schleifer, he's shown that you can win back-to-back championships. What are your plans to do that yourself this year?
Well, Schleifer really set a good example, because if Bill Schleifer can go back-to-back, I mean, almost 10 other coaches could do that same thing in our league.
No, 10?
Yes,
10. Yes. There is a coach that I don't really feel has the ability to go back-to-back. But
so you're saying 10 in addition to Bill for a total of 11.
That is accurate. That is accurate. I don't want to really go into details too much on that, but certainly that is an inspiration. If Bill, what would Bill do is what I often say to myself. But winning this week against the Gila Monsters would go a long way toward putting myself in place to capture that elusive fifth championship. And yeah, looking just like that once again.
Fantastic.
Well, what's our last question there for Schmitty there, Chavers? What do you got?
Yeah, well, Schmitty, you've been a big proponent and advocate of the show, and we appreciate your support. And I know you've been in the mailbag a couple times with feedback, which is always great. It's always great to hear from our listeners and our fans. So thank you for that. My question to you is, how do you feel like SDL and the team here, including our new correspondent, who's just amazing. How do you feel that SDL has really changed your life this year in COVID?
Well, I can tell you that SDL, I really thought it was pure entertainment. But when you came out with that hard-hitting story last week about our commissioner, Phil Montalbano, attending a birthday party at a swanky Napa restaurant called the French Laundromat, the hard-hitting news that SDL has brought to the scene is impressive. I didn't expect hard news out of SDL, and it brings just a whole additional aspect to the entertainment and what I just learned today, the recipe section of. I don't know if these may not be the best meals to prepare. I think the Charlie Palmer's is really a better way to go. But you guys are putting out good.
Well, let's let the public decide. Okay, let's let the public decide on that one, Schmidt. It's out there. Let's see who votes for a good, delicious recipe this week. Schmidt, always great having you on the show. We hope to have you on before the end of the year. Great to see you.
That'd be good. I got to go out tonight. I've been hired by this guy, Ruby Galuliani. And I believe I'm supposed to hit somebody in the knee. A guy named Joe. So I've got to run myself. Great to be with you guys. Enjoyed it very much and look forward to many, many more podcasts from this team.
Awesome, man. Good to see you, Schmidt.
You
too. Take care, boy.
You need it.
Adios.
Take care, buddy.
Adios.
Okay, goodbye.
What do I do?
I got you.
All right, man. We got to keep moving.
Sometimes you got to manually remove the guest because they won't leave. You know what I'm saying?
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk real quickly about the waiver wire activity this week. I noticed that if you notice here, Thursday at 3:39 p.m., an hour and a half before game time, you picked up Carlos Hyde. Incredible move. You want to talk about that?
Hey, it worked out. I like Teddy Bridgewater, but he's hurt this week. And I don't know what all the coaches in Seattle are doing, but yeah, Carlos Hyde worked out, 79 yards, a touchdown. Looked pretty good, T. So I'm happy with that one. My boy Swift is battling a concussion. He's on the bench, so I needed a running back this week. So
that was an incredible pickup. Guys are sitting there pawing over the players that are available, the waiver wire, and you just say, "Hey, I'll just pick up this guy. He'll score." Boom, boom. I was impressed. Let's look up earlier in the week. The Ball Busters, one of the teams that I tend to make fun of, but they're making a move now. They drop Cooper Kupp and pick up Marvin Jones. At the same time, within the same breath, the lowly Schaefermen pick up Cooper Kupp and drop Josh Reynolds. You trade LA Rams up and down. He should have held on to both of these guys, and that's my prediction. He could have had some pretty phenomenal Monday Night Magic. An
additional irony that you may not recall, but Phil dropped Marvin Jones last week before he scored. So I think he would have either tied or won with that touchdown. He may have got some bad advice from Stats Don't Lie to pick up Josh Reynolds, but that's a whole other – we don't need to get into that.
In fact, he did pick up Josh Reynolds because of the advice he had gotten on our station here.
Well, listen, he had 7 catches. He led the Rams in receptions, but in a touchdown-only league, T, it's somewhat random. I mean, everybody's going to win ultimately except Bob, apparently.
Oh, shh. All right, we've got the Sud Muffins. I want to tell you, he picked up a kicker that I dropped. I picked up Myers last week just for the weekend. He did well for me. But then he picks up Cal for Bath.
That would be Kai.
Oh, Kai. He picks him up, and he had him for Monday Night Magic, but then he drops him, scores just a couple points last night. His game's going to come down to a field goal that he wished that he held on to him. Sorry, Toby, not a great move. And then the last one was your pickup of Taysom Hill. Why'd you do that?
I'll tell you what, man. New starting quarterback of the Saints. We'll see how he does. But at this point, he's in my starting lineup against Schmitty. I mean, Atlanta's one of the worst pass defenses in the league, and I think he runs for one or two. That's kind of what Taysom Hill does. So he's either the next Steve Young or the next Tim Tebow. But even Tebow wasn't a great NFL quarterback, T, but as you know very well, was a pretty good fantasy quarterback.
Great fantasy quarterback. Hey, do you know that I believe, I'm not the commissioner, that you could actually play Taysom Hill as a tight end and start Roethlisberger as well? Did you know that?
Well, I did know that, but you are incorrect. On ESPN and on FanDuel, you can do that. On CBS, he is listed as a quarterback and ineligible for tight end.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to add value here, T. We each have our role. You're kind of the celebrity and the beautiful face here. I'm the football guy.
Thank
That's
you.
what we do.
Let's talk really quick. We're going to go through this pretty quickly here. We got head-to-head matchups. The Stud Muffins jumped ahead of the Tiki Gods right away with the 16 points last night. They had Kyler Murray and Myers score 16 points. And with this, I'm choosing the Stud Muffins to beat the Tikis. How about yourself?
Well, I don't know exactly what the Tikis are up to. I guess they're busy with their real estate business, but Buffalo is not playing this week, so I think we're all clear on that. But I got to go with the Stud Muffins.
All right. So
one of the best teams in the BFL.
Yep. Next matchup, we got the Vegas Virgins against the Great Whites. Whitey has taken a 26-0 lead, and that's going to be a hard deficit for the Virgins to. Oh shoot! What happened?
Well, you know why you have the arrow there, T.
Why?
The best player on the Virgins is going against Baltimore. Do not like. I think we both like Santa Cruz here, especially with this big lead.
I love the way you just handle that.
Oh, and Russell Wilson had a great game.
All right, I'm taking the Great Whites. Who are you taking?
Yes, Whitey.
Whitey. We both got the Great Whites. Third game is my Capistrano Crime versus the lowly Schaefer men. Two of the stronger teams in the league. But I'm going to take myself this week just because Phil only put up 3 from his kicker, and I can't imagine Cousins is going to do much against that strong Dallas defense. What do you got?
Look, I like to have differences of opinion on this podcast. I think it's more interesting, but I can't, in good conscience, pick the Schaefermen at this point. They got to win a game here.
It's like taking the New York Jets. Let's move on to the Ballbusters against the Redwood City Fog. What do you think of that? The Fog. Well,
well, listen, I like Walsh's team, but just like it's hard to pick Phil based on recent history, how can you pick against the Ballbusters? I'm going with the Ballbusters.
Okay, I am taking the Fog, and you are taking the Ballbusters. All right, I like that. Next game up, we got the Hollywood Stars, Canoga Park. That's an easy one for me. You know, Schleifer comes from he was my assistant coach for years. I took him to 2 championships, obviously, a couple of years back, and he's got to be thankful for that. So I'm going to always pick the Stars because of who taught them how to coach. Who do you have on this game?
I'm going to go the other direction. I'm going with Canoga Park. You know, they beat the Crime, so they got a lot of momentum.
Oh, that's right.
I like Curtis Samuel's been a nice surprise here. I like Brandon Cooks to maybe have a breakout game. Mike Davis is going to be good. I like those Grasshoppers.
Now,
here it is.
nothing like the game of the week. We got you and the Gila Monsters.
The Gila Monsters.
The Gila Monsters against the Spectrum Analyzers, our guests for the evening. You've jumped out to a 12-0 lead. But you know what, buddy? I'm taking Rock Creek. I think they're going to come back strong. I think Herbert's going to have to throw a lot, or he's going to get to throw a lot. He's going to score lots of touchdowns. And Dalvin Cook, man, you got the guy is unstoppable. Who are you taking this week?
I'm a little nervous about Dalvin Cook versus Dallas. Not going to lie. last time I looked, I was a 60% favorite, so I don't know what's happening with your algorithm. It's probably wrong. I'm going with the Gilas. I mean, clearly, probably the hottest team in the BFL right now, outside of my friends in San Francisco.
All right. Those are the games of the week. Now let's go to the mailbag. What do we have here? From White Boy out of Fresno, California. He says, the show is the bomb. My entire family enjoys it. Any chance I can get a volume discount on the SDL 90? That's interesting.
We could probably work that out.
Yeah, who is this guy, White Boy from Fresno? Why would he need a volume discount, you think?
It's unclear. I don't know. Maybe he's just really generous. Maybe he's got employees he's giving gifts to for the holidays.
Could be. Got next from Philly in Napa, California. He says, please stop bringing attention to my team and how bad we are. I don't want to always be the featured of all your jokes.
Wow.
You know what? There's coaches that don't get any coverage here, and they want to be on the show. And he should be happy that we're actually featuring him week after week. And what do you say?
I think it's a great point. I mean, this is the time of the year to be grateful for what you have. So I'm really surprised at Phil's take here. And furthermore, Jason figured it out, right? Jason just started winning games, and now we're very complimentary. So I think Phil should just focus on his team and winning on the field.
He's got it. He should have an easy game this week, but it doesn't look good already. Lastly, we've got from Chris S. out of Rock Creek. I love the show. Love you guys. Best podcast I've ever seen.
Wow.
Any chance the SDL 90 comes in a 4XL? I'm asking for a friend. A 4XL Teddy is kind of a huge, like a blanket.
Probably very comfortable though.
Very comfortable, but
it gives you room to move around a little bit. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Asking for a friend. Very suspicious there.
He's delicious.
He's delicious. We did get a phone call in this week. Did I tell you that?
From the switchboard? Yeah, phones were lighting up a lot of this week. I mean, I couldn't help but notice when I was in the SDL offices. But what do we got?
Listen to this. Listen to this one.
Chobber, fellow rookie and big arm boy. Hey, I was doing some research and I came across this podcast called SDL, Stats Don't Lie, and I was given this number. Not sure if I'm calling the right number, and I'm not really sure what the podcast is all about. And, I was doing some research on there, and it shows that you guys are selling swag and teddies, and I wanted to see if I could work out a deal with you, maybe for, I don't know, maybe like a bulk order type of thing. And Chad, this has got to be off the record and discreet. So, I wanted one for home. So, if I placed a bulk order, could you ship one of them to my house? And then I was thinking maybe you guys could drop ship some for me. It's got to be discreet and it's got to be brown, paper bagged or labeled, no labels, no addresses. It can't really be connected to me. So, I was thinking a couple for Vegas, a couple in Reno, San Diego, Scottsdale. Oh yeah, a special one for Portland and, and maybe even Denver.
My God.
Hey, call me back because I'm thinking like a bulk order for 10. If this is the right contact number, because it said security 101. So, I don't know what business you're running there, what this podcast is all about, but hey, if you can help a rookie out, that'd be great. Take care. Talk to you soon. Later.
Wow. First off, I didn't even know that guy listened to our podcast. And secondly, we have to blur his voice because this thing gets out. This gets out that he needs 10 teddies.
Well, listen, he asked us to be discreet, and I think, what else are we? other than discreet. I think that was, it's just our millions of listeners that heard it. And we don't know who that was. It could have been anybody. But I think one of the big questions I have after listening to that, T, is there's a Teddy going into Portland. I don't even know. Do you know what that's about?
I have no idea what he's talking about. I'm going to have a conversation though with Michelle.
Hmm.
And then that did sound a lot like Schleifer.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. It's hard to say.
Or
Could be
Larry.
anybody.
All right, well, let's.
Jobber.
Oh. All right, hey, we're coming to the end of our show here. Let's talk merchandise again. We do have the Stats Don't Lie t-shirt. It's still available for $20. If you want to order a hat, $10. And as we showed, these things are selling like hotcakes. They're no longer $2.99. They are $3.99.
Hey, so T, the specials that we're running this weekend were only for the podcast listeners that tune in on Saturday, right? Because
That's true.
those t-shirts were $10 on Saturday.
You got to tune in. So, hey, how about this? For those listeners, let's have a contest.
Ooh,
What do you think of that?
I love it.
So
This is new.
here's what Stats Don't Lie is doing this week. We're adding new shit all the time. Breaking news contest.
I got to say, Toby was fantastic this week as our in the field reporter. That was hard hitting news.
He's going to be out there every week, I believe. So the first coach who types this out on the WhatsApp thread, SDL is the best BAFL podcast ever. The first coach that does this, that can actually, who will have listened to our podcast, who's going to go to the WhatsApp and types out SDL is the best BAFL podcast ever, will get themselves a brand new Stats Don't Lie t-shirt.
Special edition.
Special
Stats Don't
edition.
Lie.
They're going to get that thing. It might even arrive before Christmas if they, and I would be very disappointed if nobody texts this out until next week.
That seems unlikely because everybody likes free shit.
I know.
So,
I know.
mean, especially Jason. But hey, speaking of Jason, like if he changed the punctuation in this, and let's say he moved the quotation marks in, and then I think correctly would put the period on the outside of the sentence, that would also count, would it not? My point is, I think we have a grammatical error in our podcast, which is a little upsetting.
Let me try to shuffle it a little bit. Nope, it's still coming up that way. All right,
Okay.
That's okay. All right, well, I'm looking forward to see who we're sending a t-shirt out to. Jobber, always great to see you.
T, what's amazing to me is every time we do a podcast, it's our best podcast ever. Amazing. I say good luck to you this weekend and adios, my friend.
You too, buddy. We'll see you next week. Stats Don't Lie. Stats Don't Lie.